Good evening, Manny.
Dave, how you doing?
Good, you?
Good.
Good.
Good meet last night.
Yeah, it was all right, eh?
A lot of interaction going on. Everybody was engaged.
Yeah, it was good. It was very good. Welcome to tonight's live chat room.
It's different. Right?
This is different. Yeah, this is being recorded right now. This is Disc Jockey News. I normally do, of course, a Wednesday evening show with Jeremy Brech called Wedding Chat. We do a live show broadcasted live onto YouTube and Facebook Live. And Jeremy is with John Young from Disc Jockey News in, where's NAMM happening this year? Los Angeles? No. I forget.
I don't know.
God. Anyway, they're, yeah, basically the largest speaker release party in the world, you could say.
Is it specifically for speakers?
So NAMM, what does NAMM stand for again? NAMM stands for the National Association of Music Merchants.
Wow.
So it's Anaheim, that's where they are, right? So NAMM is an annual event in the U.S. Yeah, the world's largest trade-only event for the music products industry. It takes place in Anaheim, attracts about 100,000 people.
Wow. So yeah. Is that as big or just as important as CES?
I believe CES has them beat attendance-wise by a fair bit. CES attendance. CES is ridiculously big.
Have you ever been?
I haven't, no. It'd be fun to go one day. It'd be a lot of fun to go one day. CES, 2017 numbers for CES. Yeah, huge numbers. 184,000 people.
On a weekend. How many days? Is it 4 days, I think?
CES runs, yeah, I think it's about 4 days, I think, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so it'd be fun to go one day. CES is in Vegas. Good luck getting a hotel room in Vegas during CES.
No kidding. Yeah. No, when I worked for an automation company a few years back,
yeah,
it was the owners and the executive took the lead salespeople to CES. It was pretty amazing.
No kidding.
No, I was never ever lucky enough to get on that list, but
got it. Yeah, that would be a fun time. That would be fun. Glenn. Holy, Glenn and Jim, Dale. Maybe not. How are you, Glenn?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Top drawer, thank you.
Top drawer.
You know, the timing for you really works out. I think maybe we should discuss replacing Jeremy with you.
Well, yeah, it's been brought up several times. So,
Manny, you've probably never met Glenn before. Manny, meet Glenn. Glenn, meet Manny.
How you doing, Glenn?
Hey, Manny. I feel I may have met Manny before, but
jail.
Yes.
No.
Maybe at Mobile Beat or when I was up in Canada. I don't know.
I only met Manny last year for the first time, so Manny's up.
I've never been to Mobile Beat, so.
Okay, totally haven't met you. Sorry.
Glenn's God, Glenn, you've been over to this side of the world how many times now?
I think we started coming in 2011, and I think I've missed one, maybe two since then, and I'm missing this year. So
right, but you've also flown over for other DJ related things as well. So you've been over a dozen times, or is that a little high?
Maybe not that many, maybe 9 or 10 all up, including coming to you guys, obviously, up in Canada way back for the Marbecca workshops.
Sorry, Glenn, you're not from Canada?
No. Should I put that on my thing? Everyone else has such fancy titles.
Yeah, Glenn is out of the city of Brisbane,
Australia.
Brisbane, Australia.
And Glenn actually he flew all the way to Manitoba for a Marbecca workshop once.
Really?
Yeah. So when you hear me spouting about, the value and how great these things are, you and I didn't have to spend $2,000 on a plane ticket just to get there. True story.
Worth the wait. Glenn,
Yeah.
Worth the wait in gold?
Oh, it was worth the trip. It took, I think it took 24 hours of traveling to get there. I think I worked out. Like Brisbane, LA to Vancouver, and Vancouver over to Winnipeg.
Right.
Wow.
What did I come? I think I came home by Calgary, maybe.
Was
It
that
was like
a full day and a half travel for you?
Yeah, I kind of try to get the most direct flights I can, so it was pretty quick. It was as quick as it could be, like only an hour to 3 hour kind of stopovers. So, yeah, I just remember getting into Winnipeg at like, I'm going to say it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then having to get up. Luckily, the hotel that David recommended was like 2 seconds away. It was really easy. And then having to be on a little bus at 9 a.m. to go and meet Dave in the middle of nowhere.
Where was the workshop? Where in Manitoba was the workshop?
It was in Winnipeg. It was actually in the same hotel right next to the airport.
Yeah, Marbella. They were, we held them at the Victoria Inn, I believe, right by the airport there, Manny.
Okay.
This was, God, what year was this now? This was 13, 14?
I think so. I'm going to say 13. It was a lot longer ago than I remember it. I remember your girls being so little. Little.
It was the old International Inn back then.
Exactly.
With the Victoria.
So, Jim, are you here with us this evening, or are you just here in name and not anything else?
Jim's been tapping into my Zoom calls all day.
Has he?
Well, not really, but once.
And
I think he messaged me to test, and then next minute all these other people started showing on. I was like, oh, hello.
Nice. Well, Manny and I are doing this 2 nights in a row because Manny participated in the Canada-wide DJ call that I hosted last night, I should say, with past CPDJ President Dave Hastings. That was a lot of fun. Manny, why don't we, just as a discussion to start right now, for those who are watching this recorded live chat room after the fact, give them some value. What were some of your interesting takeaways from last night? I do have one. It was a small nugget, but I'm going to let you go first. And let's
we covered a lot of topics.
Yes.
But I think just on the conversation that I was involved with was it, and it got me really thinking last night after the call. It was about establishing your niche or understanding what niche you fit in,
right,
within your market. And I had mentioned that I wasn't sure that I fit into a niche, or that I was actually looking for a niche. But I mean, that got me thinking. And I'm still unsure, although there are probably a few niches that I could fit in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still trying to evolve to that.
Right.
I've been DJing for a long time, but really only active in the business as just a DJ and never as an independent business owner. And,
right.
And never really had to think about those things, but it really got me thinking last night. And a lot of the other conversation was pretty interesting too, but this one really stuck out in my head. Thanks for pulling me in.
You bet. So what Manny's referencing is we had about just over 40 DJs last night on a Canada-wide DJ call, and Blake Belcher, who's one of our remarkable guys out in Niagara Falls, he posed a question. He said, let's do round table and answer the question, what is your niche? Do you have a niche? And it provided a lot of fascinating answers, and as Manny's just demonstrated, some maybe interesting post-call considerations. Glenn, how would you answer that question?
So as to what our niche is?
Yeah. Do you have a niche?
I do. Our niche is, well, our company niche is what I can refer to, which is enhancing and personalizing celebrations. So, yeah, it's a very broad niche. I get that. But it's because it's the company one and the diversity of what we do, we wanted to not mention that it was music or that it was DJing or that it was lighting, because I didn't want to kind of pigeonhole that. So,
Right.
Yeah.
What now, would you say you yourself have a niche within your company?
Oh, absolutely. So my niche, but from a performance point of view, I think would be as a wedding MC. I think that's definitely where my strengths are, and it's the thing I do as a performance side of things more than anything else. Whereas on the business as a whole side of things, my niche is more, I guess, overseeing than doing. Sounds very late.
The overpaid executive. I get it.
Not sure I like this call anymore, Dave.
Serge knows exactly what I'm talking about. Serge, welcome to our Disc Jockey News live chat. How are you, my friend?
Very well, thank you.
Good. Yes, Manny, there's another individual from down under on this call.
Surge
So
too.
what have we got? Half the DJ population in Australia on this call.
Yeah, this is so far we've got 2 active participants from Canada, 2 active participants from Australia. So to this point, it's a Commonwealth call.
Well, we got Dale in Manitoba.
It's true.
So there's 3 guests, 2 so far.
Chris Cooper. God, I hope you get in here. I haven't seen you in ages, my friend. Chris is out in Ontario somewhere. God, I hope I'm getting that right, Chris. Oh,
Pembroke.
There we go.
Right here, Iowa. Good to see you.
Likewise. How are you?
Doing well.
Good.
Doing well. This is the first time that I've joined something like this.
Outstanding. Well, you've joined myself, Manny, who's in Winnipeg, and Serge and Glenn, who are both in Australia. And Jim and Dale are just kind of lurkers right now. But we were just discussing, Chris, how would you answer the statement question, what is your niche? Do you have a niche? And have you ever considered that when it comes to the DJ work that you do?
I guess weddings, but try to do a bit of everything to make ends meet, right?
Right.
I mean, coming up next week, I've got music trivia. Been doing a lot of that in the past couple of months. Actually, the past couple of years, but that fills in some dates in the off season.
Right.
But niche, I guess weddings. I mean, that would make up the majority of the functions that I do, for sure.
Right. Glenn looked like he was going to say something. No.
Yeah, I was actually. I was sorry, my phone was ringing here, and I had to wait for someone else to answer it so I could unmute. It's interesting. The term niche is so vague for a word that means what it means, right? Because if you think about it, just saying you're a wedding DJ is a niche within the DJ kind of world, or being just a DJ. And I don't mean just a DJ, but being a DJ is a niche within the entertainment industry, or a niche within the wedding industry. So I don't know, how niche do you want to get? That's the other thing.
Yeah, the way I kind of understood niche last night was, what got me thinking was, maybe becoming a DJ within the Filipino community in Winnipeg, and for those of you that don't know, I think Manitoba probably has the one of the biggest Filipino communities outside of Toronto. in Canada.
Yeah, big time.
It's certainly a pretty big market, and you know, a lot of weddings and a lot of wedding fundraising parties that happen within that particular niche. And then another niche could be the university functions. I mean, there's quite a bit that goes on in Manitoba as well. I'm sure everywhere else, but
yeah.
The hotel market. So markets is what I'm kind of understanding it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I guess, is there a difference between the word niche and specialty? I mean, I remember back when I first, dropped a few words from my company name. Never mind. I give you permission to laugh. So my company name prior to that was Special Request Disc Jockey and Imaging. I don't know how many people on this call knew that, but it was a mouthful because I did photography as well. I shot 6 weddings. That's my claim to fame back in the day.
Gee, you must have been good if you got 6 weddings.
Right? I was, that's a story for another night. But I remember when I said, okay, I mean, at the time I was debating, okay, where do I go? Do I go photography? Do I go, back to where my roots were, which was DJing, and the whole MC idea was just coming to light in my world at the time. And I said, okay, I don't want to do either one of these halfway. I want to be here in one or the other, and I know it can't be both. So I stuck with the entertainment side of things. So I quite proudly dropped a few words from my name and decided to call my company Special Request Weddings. And I remember getting my first business cards at Special Request Weddings. I had just gotten them. A week later, I was at a DJ networking night in Winnipeg, and I just distinctly remember one of the DJs looking at my card going, well, this is dumb. Now people are going to think you only do weddings. I was like, yeah. And I remember that moment because I don't think in the DJ world we maybe consider the value of specializing or niching. I think I just made that word up. Enough. I don't know. I mean, do I only do weddings? No, I do some other things as well. But when I do take them on, I think sometimes my clients are thinking I'm making an exception for them, and they somehow feel extra value out of what I'm doing for them. I don't know if that makes any sense. But I mean, some people say, thanks for taking on my fundraiser day. I really appreciate that. As if I've made an exception to my rule for them. So I don't know. Yeah.
I can definitely see that as a possibility. So,
yeah. So
the other thing is, if you go back into photography, you can still keep the same name.
I could indeed. Very true. Very, very true.
It's interesting. We had a wedding expo or a bridal fair. I'm not sure what you guys call them over there over the weekend, and it's interesting being able to identify what a company does in that sort of few seconds you're walking past their 2 to 4 meters of real estate in that expo amongst a couple of hundred different wedding suppliers. And it's something that there was some I walked past and I was like, I have no idea what you do. And one was right next to us and it was a venue. They just didn't have their name up there. All they had was a table setting. And I was like, what do you guys do? And I think they would have lost prospective brides before they even got in the door. And I think being like you say, in your name says weddings, it's showing your niche straight off the bat, which I think is a good thing.
Right. Serge, you were going to say something?
Yeah, sorry, I'm on the phone.
No, I said it.
I should have.
I said it. No, I said if you change your name, you can still keep. You go back to photography. I mean, you can still keep the same name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very true. Very true. I don't know. I guess sometimes.
I was just going to say, I guess, what do you consider the niche? Like, how deep do you go down that rabbit hole?
So I do go one level deeper, and it echoes something you said earlier. I have when people ask me what I do, I answer the question by saying I MC weddings full time, and then I DJ them as well, unless I'm working with a band or something.
Yeah.
So that instantly says what my niche is, what my specialty is, and of course, just the very notion that someone could MC full time kind of makes people go, "You do what?" And it always creates a great conversation.
Yeah.
Now,
which, especially because Canada is like Australia, it's not typical for that to be a thing. So it and that's exactly what you want, is you want the discussion, not the I'm a DJ, oh, and I can MC for you. You
Right.
flip that, which I think is really, really good.
right. Now, I will ask you, though, I'm going to ask each of you for your opinion on this. Am I guess for lack of a better way of saying this, am I not helping our industry by saying I MC full time and then I DJ them as well unless I'm working with a band? Is that a slight against the DJ industry?
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, you've got a reputation, Dave. So I don't think it's not helping you, or your business is not helping the industry. I think a lot of DJs will shoot the DJ industry in the foot, and that's kind of what we're struggling at with this market. And not to say to try and legitimize it, but there's certainly a few fly-by-nighters that really don't help the industry much in our market. So being a DJ, I don't know. I'll get a couple of different reactions. I'll get, hey, awesome, great, which usually leads to I need a DJ.
Right.
And either that or it could be a mediocre reaction too. So. So we need to do a lot of things to elevate.
Well, I guess maybe I'll just be a little more clear with my question. Am I somehow diminishing the value of a DJ by answering people's question in that way?
I don't think so.
These are the things that keep me up at night. It's bizarre.
No, I don't think so. I mean, we talked about elevator speech last night, and
right.
And the whole point of that is to draw or engage conversation, right? And you being an MC, I think you automatically capture the attention of somebody that you're talking to.
True.
Really, MC.
Yeah.
Chris, what's your take on this?
No, I think that you're helping to take it to the next level, our profession. When I try not to get offended, and I think you brought it up the one time, but at hockey last week, it's the same old question. What else do you do, Chris? I mean, what do you run a DJ company? What else do you do? So, we're always struggling, I think, to fight that image that we're just part-time guys, So we just do this on the side. And I think, I think what you're doing is helping to, create an image that we all want to achieve.
Glenn?
Yeah, it's an interesting concept, and I totally know where you're coming from on this, because in a lot of places, the DJ is not necessarily held in high regard, and that's maybe why you're going down the path, or twofold why you're going down the path of saying you're an MC who can also look after the DJing if need be. But I think the way you do it actually makes more sense, because you're opening the conversation. If you say you're a DJ, then instantly you put here and it doesn't increase what a DJ does. Whereas when you say you're an MC, but you can also DJ them if needed or work with a band, you're not limiting their options. You're not degrading what a DJ does, but you're also at the same time elevating yourself above what most DJs do. So I think it's benefiting twofold. It's benefiting you, which is, I think, the most important thing to do initially, depending on who you're speaking to. Because I know what you're trying to do for the DJ industry at large, and there's not many people out there who do that. But you can't look after others if you're not looking after yourself as well, right? So yeah, I think it's not a disservice at all. And there's been a lot of attempts to kind of circumvent that DJ term through other terms that have been created, or entertainer, or, you know, wedding music coordinator, or, you know, all that sort of bullshit. But it's like, I think what you've created is a discussion, not a statement, which I think is good.
Thank you for that. Serge, what's your take?
I agree with Glenn. Not often I agree with Glenn, but
mind you, I agree with Serge a lot. So
I'm only joking.
How would you expand on his answer?
How would I expand on that? Jesus. I think you're doing a lousy job, Dave. And you're disgracing the industry. No, I don't think you're degrading the DJs in any way. I really can't add much more to what Glenn said, to be honest.
Yeah.
I did say a lot of words. So
yes, you did.
that could be.
God, and they blame me for being wordy.
Oh,
That's not
I
good.
was in a discussion on a Facebook group today, and or yesterday, sorry, trying to get a point across, and I was like, I had to go all Canadian on them and apologize afterwards. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I'm so wordy.
Good on you, Glenn. Good on you.
So it should be my goal for the year, is to work on being concise.
Writing has helped me. Those that follow my writing know that I ain't all the way there yet, but writing has really helped me. In fact, I was reading over something of somebody else's the other day, and I was staring at this one sentence for about 5 minutes going, okay, you could successfully remove that word, and that word, and still say the same thing. And I caught myself and went, wow, like 2 years ago, I wouldn't have done that. It was a great moment just for me. Anyway. How do you all introduce yourself? Glenn, tell you what, reverse order this time. You're in the hot seat this time, Serge. Someone comes up to you and says, hey, Serge, you know, your name, or pardon me. Hi, my name is Dave. Your name is Serge. We got that figured out. What do you do?
Little as possible. I might say that, actually. No, I would not, to a client or to a potential client or at an event. I wouldn't. I don't know. I just say I'm Serge Olivieri.
I'm Serge. Haven't you heard of me?
I usually say I'm a wedding DJ MC. I usually say that together.
Yeah.
I don't say a wedding DJ and MC. Wedding DJ MC.
Okay.
That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of people go, wow, because they don't think you can do it full time. That's all you do? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I got someone at the door. Saved by the door.
Saved by the door. We call it saved by the bell around here.
Serge doesn't have a doorbell. We'll just knock on the door. But Serge does have a real Christmas tree. He won't anymore, but every year has a real Christmas tree, which is, I think I've spoken to you previously about this, Dave, but it's just, it doesn't happen in Australia. No one has real Christmas trees, but Serge does. And his house smells fantastic because of it.
That blows me away, because we had Hannah, Australian exchange student, here over Christmas, some of you know, and that was my argument to convince my wife that we needed to get a real tree. She's been wanting us to get a fake tree forever. I love real trees, but of course they make a bloody mess, especially when you take them out of the house at the end of the Christmas season. And Hannah's like, yeah, I've never seen a real Christmas tree. And I'm like, what? So we had to get one.
Nice.
Chris?
Sorry, I was just telling them about your real Christmas tree, but
My real Christmas one, yes.
Chris, how do you introduce yourself within the context of your DJing? You struck up a conversation with somebody at wherever, and they say, "Oh, so what do you do?"
It's changed over the years, and I think it continues to change as we go, depending on the day, the month. I don't know, and I don't have a standard line, but I mean, I guess lately I've been saying I own a DJ company that focuses on the wedding industry.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, meaning I have guys that work for me too on a multi-op, but I mean, multi-op to them doesn't mean anything.
Right.
I once had coffee with my brothers and my dad, and they went through the list, and, you know, my brother's in the military, other brothers, you know, professor, and my dad's a cop, and some guy said, well, what do you do? And I said, I own a small business. And my brother said, why did you say that? He said, it sounds like you're, you could be doing anything. I mean, you almost, you know, image-wise, not that I feel embarrassed, but I just, people kind of don't hold our industry to a very high esteem. So I don't really know how to answer that question a lot of times. I get stuck. So I'm finding this very helpful, interesting, useful on how you guys approach it.
Well, everything you're saying right now is something that every one of us has felt or does feel today.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right on every account.
And, you know, my girlfriend the other day said, you don't help your cause when on Facebook you put on there on a midweek that you're out golfing. She said, you know, you have this image of a life of leisure. And I said, if only they knew, you know, the long hours that you put in, right? You know?
Oh, God.
You know, because we have a different lifestyle, right? So, and we're able to enjoy some time off during the week when other people are working 9 to 5. So we're not 9 to 5 people, really. I mean, for the most part, right? I mean,
no, we're definitely not.
Yeah, burn the candle late at night. I work best at night, you know. So I don't know if that you know, goes against or reflects poorly upon our image when, you know, some of us take advantage of that leisure lifestyle. It's image, you know.
Yeah, I don't think so at all, but I am going to circle back to what you just said after we get Glenn to answer the question of how he introduces himself.
Sure. So I had a bit of time to think about this, and I don't think I have any specific way I introduce myself, and it will depend on how I'm introducing myself to. But I would say that I help people have cool, fun wedding receptions. And or something along those lines, so that, again, it's to a degree I want to pique their interest, and they go, because they might say, well, how do you do that? And then it starts that conversation. And rather than saying I'm a DJ, because I don't actually DJ. So it's an interesting part of what I do, even though I run a DJ company. But yeah, I think if the purpose was to start a conversation, that's the path I would go. But if it's someone who I kind of knew and if I met them at a DJ conference, for example, I would explain that we have a DJ entertainment and lighting company.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't introduce myself at a DJ conference as, I MC weddings full time. I would say I run special request weddings. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, very true.
But I think, and just to kind of quickly go back to what you were saying earlier about that, not wanting to degrade the concept of being a DJ, I think starting the conversation is what enables you to lift the concept of a DJ.
Agreed. Manny. So for context, Manny just wrapped up year number 1 in business on his own. So milestone.
Went really well, and I mean, I've been jumping through the introduction thing for the last year, and it's changed quite a bit often. And you know, kind of took a page from a friend who kind of described me. So you know, I'm confidently saying that I'm a DJ these days, because maybe up until about 8 months ago, I don't know if anybody else did this, but you kind of do a little bit of a dance when you introduce yourself and tell people what you do. Hey, I'm kind of a DJ. So,
right. Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know, But you know, a little bit more confident in introducing myself as a DJ, and you know, people will usually react, "Oh, hey, you're a DJ," or "Oh, you're a DJ," and I'll tell them, "Yeah, you know, I get." The line is, "I take your get-togethers and make them get out of hand," and I usually get kind of a laugh.
That's cute. That's fun. I like it.
You know, sometimes it doesn't happen. I get a lot of people just sitting around.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Yeah, of course.
For everyone and every good one that you get.
Nice. Martin Pilon in Cornwall, Ontario. How are you, Martin? No, he's not going to answer me back either, is he? I really hope Martin joins because I want him to answer this question. Martin's a great guy. If you guys don't know Martin, if you don't know Martin, you're going to soon. You mentioned, Chris, that maybe people do see us living a life of leisure a little too much. Now, I don't know. I don't think that's true. I don't think it's not true. But I guess, what do all of you do to communicate, or do you do anything at all to communicate the opposite to that? Whether it's in your social media posts, whether it's in, how do you communicate that this isn't just a life of leisure? I mean, I've seen some great Instagram posts and Facebook posts, you know, people, you know, quick snapshot of, you know, the agenda, or, you know, them getting ready of their music. Those are always popular posts. So that's one way of doing it. Do you guys do anything to communicate that this isn't just a show up on the weekend, spin a couple tracks, say a few things, go home?
I'm not sure if is Chris just frozen or is it just me?
He might be frozen. It's
pretty cold up there. I know.
cold.
Are you okay if I answer to Phil while he defrosts, or?
We didn't only lose him; we lost Martin as well. No. Answer away, Glenn.
Yeah, so my thoughts on this is kind of, I have two different sides to this, right? Because I have myself and we have Ben who works for me, right? And I know Serge and Dave both know Ben. So Ben's a DJ for us full time and he helps out in the office. But he lives the life of a DJ who DJs and doesn't do much else. And he portrays that through his social media. And it attracts a certain kind of clientele to him who are attracted to that kind of young, sort of edgy kind of guy who's DJ life, whereas
carefree.
Almost, yeah. But they know that, you know, part of that is showing what he creates, the end result of what he creates, rather than, you know, like showing a full dance floor or a video from a cool wedding, rather than just, you know, something, I'm at this wedding, rather than that he's showing something fun that was there. So showing what he creates. And I think couples see what's created, and I think they appreciate that more than how much work goes into that. And as far as what I do, you know, I don't think I need to portray how busy I am or I am not to my clients. And the industry people, so the other wedding suppliers, they get that we're working during the week as much as we are on weekends, because we have client meetings at one of our venues. So they're always seeing us there. If it's not me, it's one of our other team in there meeting with clients. And so that they understand that it gets busy during the week. But I don't think I do anything per se, other than the fact that trying to schedule time to meet with me, my clients will know that it's busy during the week.
Right. Serge?
I don't post any of that stuff. I post very rarely anyway.
Oh, do you? Yeah.
I mean, at an event, I definitely don't, because I'm there for the client, and that takes precedence. So if I post something of ceremony setup or something like that early in the day, maybe.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'll do a blog afterwards if I'm being given permission.
Oh, okay.
So I'll post that and I'll go on the website, and you know, there'll be a link on my social media if you want to go have a look at that. But
Mm-hmm.
But that's not always, because often they don't give you permission.
When you say permission, you mean giving you
Take photographs and put it on a blog and.
Got it.
Social media or anywhere else. You don't get permission of people, Dave?
Well, I don't post much on social media. I'm similar to you in that vein, although when I do, more often than not, I'm posting photos that the photographer has taken. So I know.
Takes too long to get those, if you can get them at all.
Well, I excel at getting them. I think just because of the relationships I have with the photographers I work with. Well, not I think, because it is because of that. You know, quite often inside of a couple of days, they will have sent me the sneak peeks that they always send to their client so that the client can post to social media something right away. And I use those images because I know permissions have already been secured to the photographer. And some people might arch their back up at this, but the client doesn't know I'm doing this unless they see it on social media. I don't go to them asking them permission. I just contact photographers, say, hey.
No, they've already signed away their permissions, so they're fine.
Right. Yeah, and you know, part of their permissions with the photographer is, you know, that photographer is allowed to do anything they want with those images. So if the photographer wants to give them to me, it's completely up to the photographer. Yeah, I don't know. I certainly have taken images myself and posted them, though, and I have not concerned myself with permissions before on that. But yeah, I don't recall a situation where that would have ever come up. Glenn, what's your take on this?
Sorry, I had to zone out there for a second. That's something else coming I needed to tend to.
That's all right. That's all right. So take photographs at events, permissions, all that type of stuff.
Permission to take photos at an event?
Yeah.
I don't. It's the best way for me to explain this. For me, it's a discussion with the client in advance as to what we might do. We never promise we're going to do or not do anything. We discuss it in advance. And if they're like, no, we don't want you taking any photos or video, actually, I don't think I've ever had anyone say that of my specific clients, which is, again, about building rapport, which is something I know that you'll do, Dave. And it's that they just, if you're taking images, and like if we say we might take some photos and shoot some video, we're happy to share that all with you after, they love it because they want more of that. As for getting images from photographers, I actually tried one of the ways that, so you've spoken about this before, Dave, about offering like how you get it from photographers, and we've had mixed success with that, although we've started building better relationships with a few key photographers, and they just send us stuff. There's one great photographer who will just send us the Dropbox to all the photos with instructions of what to do and what not to do with it, so that you're not stealing his work, but he wants you to share it and tag him because it gets it out there. Mind you, Ben, who I explained before, he's shooting these videos at weddings, which are just crazy awesome. I'm not sure if you follow him on his Facebook or not, but he gets great reach from those, and he's dropping those videos usually the next day after a wedding, and brides just share it straight away because it's Sunday, and they want to share that with everyone who's had a great night with him the night before. So.
Oh, he's turning them into a celebrity.
Yeah, well, it's
exactly what he's doing, right? They're like, holy crap, look at this amazing video from my party.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge.
Exactly. He's only had one client, I think, who didn't share it straight away. And they said, no, we want to wait till a week after so we can share it on our 1 week kind of anniversary thing. I was like, oh, it's a little weird, but yeah, it works for them, I guess.
That's awesome. Serge, now that you're back, I should clarify, I completely forgot about one thing. In my performance agreement, I do have a photo and video release in there as part of one of the points. It's not an individual thing they sign, but the wording on my agreement says the client permits special request weddings to record any part of the event through photography, video, or audio for his own performance review, demonstration to potential clients, or marketing purposes. All uniquely created audio, video, or other production pieces are and will remain property of Special Request Weddings.
Yeah, I've got something similar. So by default, they agree. So unless advised otherwise in writing or something like that, I've got.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if somebody asked me to yank something down, a photograph or a video that I took of a moment, I'm probably going to do it because the potential fallout's not worth the small gain.
Yeah, I've had that. I've had that because they break up or something and they don't want the blog post there anymore.
Interesting.
Or they want a testimonial taken down for the same reason.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Manny, what's your take on all this? I know you're just at a year one in business, so maybe this is stuff you haven't experienced or considered yet, but what's your take on all this commentary and so on and so forth?
You know, I post a lot. I post a ton.
Okay.
And I know you look at my Facebook page and my Instagram page, but yeah, you know what? It's in my contract when I send it out.
Good stuff.
You know, they sign away permission. And I've had a couple of couples ask me, likewise. I mean, if we take pictures of you, the DJ, and you in action, take video of you in action in the crowd, can I post it? And I'll often ask, Glenn, you pointed this out, but it does start with a conversation, as a conversation with the client beforehand, and I bring it up. I bring it up when I have my meetings with my clients. Not only is it mentioned in the contract, but I ask for permission. But what I also ask for is, do they have a Facebook page or an Instagram page for their wedding? And is it okay for me to tag you on there or post it on your Facebook page or your Instagram page? And the reaction is usually, oh yeah, that'd be awesome. Please do.
Right.
So I don't think I've ever received anything negative about it. I don't think it's ever been an issue, but I do post a lot and I don't advertise in any way or do any other marketing in any way other than Facebook and Instagram. And
right.
I don't have a lot of functions throughout the year, but I would say about 80% of my of the functions that I have booked have been through referrals or Facebook or Instagram.
Right. Welcome to the call, Scott.
Yeah, let me unmute myself there so you can hear me. How you doing? Nice to meet you, man.
Likewise. You're Florida, if Facebook tells me anything?
Yeah, I am. I'm in North Florida. So I'm in that, as we usually call it, the battle state. We battle around Florida. We do. Weather-wise, too, we have had quite a bit of northern participating weather this year, especially up here. It's gotten really cold.
Got it. When you said fighting people, I thought you were talking gators or something like that.
Oh yeah, I'm probably about 47 miles west of Gainesville, or south of Gainesville, actually, on 75. I'm not that far from the old University of Florida. Go there all the time, man.
Got it.
That is a neat market there. That is really, I mean, go to college, get married. You know, we have a lot of bridal expos and stuff in that area, and just that's a thriving area. I do a lot of weddings. I have been doing this a long time. I talked about how technology's changed us older guys. We've had to go to younger guys to learn the technology because it's changed so much.
Yeah.
Because I went from taking around 1200s to now up to MP3s, and I had to learn all that. And I did. I went to the younger guys and said, hey, help me. I really need help with it. But, I know your topic tonight is what, on weddings? Is that pretty well what you're doing?
Yeah, Wedding Chat is the show that Jeremy and I often host at this exact same time on Disc Jockey News TV. But Jeremy is down at NAMM working for EV, actually.
Wow. Oh, cool. Cool. Way to go, EV.
He's doing nothing but lighting for EV.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he's having a lot of fun. Well, at least that's what we perceive, right? But we probably all know that it's work. But what we were just discussing was photos, videos taken at events, weddings, obviously specifically. Is that something that you and your company do a lot? Do you post a lot? And how do you deal with permissions? If at all?
With a photographer, if I have them take my picture, I ask them first and foremost, look, I need something. Can you, if you want to get a good candid shot, if I happen to get in the shot, can I get permission to use it? Some of them are usually pretty good about it, but I ask that up front. I would never take something that someone's posted at a wedding and throw it up there on Facebook without their permission. That is just, oof, that is ouch. Now, if I take something myself with my phone, that's my business. But I've had it happen to where pictures have shown up on Facebook, and I'll see it at a wedding I've done. And if I know the photographer's done it, I'll ask permission. But as far as any pictures I do, usually it's on the old, the old iPhone 7. I just snap what I need off that. If I do something where I'm taking a guest, I'll try to get it where if they're up there doing a line dance or they're doing something like that, I may take that. But I only post that on my web page. And if I get a photographer, if I get a bride and groom that want, I have to take their picture, I say, hey, can I get your permission before I post it on my website even.
Now, how do you deal with permissions when it comes to your client, the wedding couple? Do they give you permission to take photos with your phone ahead of time and use them for your own purpose? Discussing that, I have a line in my contract that allows me to do that. Do you do anything similar?
I need to, that's something I need to add to my contract on it. If I do any pictures of the client per se, I need to have that. That's a good idea. You just put me out. I didn't really think about that, really. I mean, the ways, if you could name the 110 ways that you could be sued, that probably throws up into that category. Well, I'll tell you the truth. Like, we have a photo booth, and I'll tell the bride and groom right off, these are your pictures. I didn't take these pictures. The machine did. And because I give them all their photos at the end. People say, why do you give them a thumb drive at the end of the event? Yes, those are their photos. I've had people reach down, because I do 2 prints when I do them. I'll have them reach down, pull one of them out. Oh, I didn't like that one. It doesn't matter, because they're getting the whole roll on a thumb drive at the end. I just pull it off the computer and give it to them. Right. I even thought about putting something like that in my contract with the photo booth, if we're using that to say, hey, those pictures that you took, those are all yours. But you just gave me a good thing to really, I need to add something. If I take, a shot or something like that of them, can I, even if it's a box, even if it's something that can initial off, I'm wondering if that would be a good idea too. It may not pertain to them, but it might be just something more to kind of add to the terms of agreement on the contract. That's a good idea.
Right. Well, here, I'll, if you look in the chat section of the software we're using, click the chat button at the bottom. I'm copying and pasting the wording from my agreement. How I word these things.
Oh, yeah, I see it down here. Okay.
Copy and paste it over to your side if you want, adjust the wording, so on and so forth.
Okay. Yeah, because I was, it's a good idea just to.
Glenn, Serge, any burning topic you'd like us to tie off the end of our conversation with?
Well, I actually have something based on what Scott brought up when he first started speaking there, and I don't know whether the next, 8 or 10 minutes is going to suffice, but it was actually a discussion in one of our local Facebook groups here, and it was about what young DJs can learn from old DJs and what old DJs can learn from young DJs. And it generated some interesting discussion For me, it was confusion. I'm not sure what side of the equation I'm on. But, and I fear that means I'm on the old side now. But I'm living with that. But
yeah. Scott's going to laugh at you right now and say, "What did you just say there, young whippersnapper?"
Oh, gosh.
But I thought it was an interesting concept for discussion.
I started spinning back. You know, people would laugh at me. I'd be going through a hotel pushing what they call a DJ coffin back in the day. It literally looked like a coffin because you had your two 1200s in there, your 19-inch rack-mounted mixer that you had to haul all that stuff in, and about probably 4 or 5 crates of records. And you darned better make sure that you had everything you needed. It wasn't like calling a laptop out now. I'll tell you that much. It's a lot easier now, okay? It's a lot easier to haul all that stuff around than it was then because I've forgotten music before. And I've been on the phone. Hey, I'm calling a DJ friend of mine. You got such and such? No, man, don't tell me. One thing I used to make sure at a wedding was I had five different things that I needed to make sure. First dance, father-daughter, mother-son dance, anything pertaining to opening to that wedding, I better had it. I mean, it just
right.
Oh, when CDs came out, man, when we were able to run CDs, we were happy. We were running around. You know, I hated CD players at first, man. They were garbage. I bought and spent $1,500 on a Denon dual CD unit. And before I got a set of CDJs, and I had a set of CDJs and I liked them because they were better. Denon spent more time in the shop. I mean, you get a CD and it start skipping on you. And
right. Well, at least that's come a long way now, thankfully.
Oh, and I'm telling you, you know, don't worry about it. You're not going to hurt my feelings on it. There's some guys that are egoed, especially people that are out of the business and stopped when MP3s came out. They're crossing all of us older guys. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, why?
What type of conversation did it generate?
Well, I forget. This was way back, maybe before Christmas even. But one of the things that I thought, I don't even think I commented on it because it started. It maybe got sidetracked, like often DJ groups do. But one of the things, and it's funny because Scott just touched on it again, is that I think a lot of young DJs have a lot to say about old DJs not being willing to change. And the reality is, someone like Scott, for example, who's been in the industry so long, has done so much change over the years. He's just explained how he's changed from vinyl to CDs to MP3s, whereas someone who's been DJing sub 5 years has never touched a different media than MP3s and a MIDI controller probably, right?
Yeah.
So learning how to not just adapt to change, but adapt it into your business model so that you can have that longevity in business. And which is another point I think older DJs can certainly, or younger DJs can look to older DJs for, is how to sustain a business longer than, you know, a fad.
Yeah, be a flash in the pan.
If you're going to last this long in the business, you've got to be willing to change. And if you don't, then you need to get out of it. It's like a surgeon or it's like a doctor. If they don't change over to, say they use the robotic stuff now. Oh, I'm using scaffold. That's it. If I can't cut somebody open with a scaffold, you know, I'm done. It's the same with our business. The tools that we're given to use, we need to use them. And if we don't, we might as well through. We're out of it. Somebody said, well, you kind of treat this like a hobby. No, it's a hobby / business to me because there's a passion there. I don't think of it as a job, okay? Even though I treat the business of it, I treat it as having fun and having a passion for it. And your client will notice that. They will absolutely notice that.
Amen.
I'm sorry, I get on a soapbox with that, but I know what you're talking about, Glenn, that people do not want to, they don't want to change. I'm nearly hitting double nickel this year. And I started when I was 17 years old. I started DJing when I was 17, and people thought I was nuts. When I went into radio, I had people calling me up, you know, you're on the radio? No way, that's pre-taped. I said, well, when I walk out of the studio, because we did everything live back then, but when I walk out of the studio and you see me, you'll know that, you know, I'm not a video person. That was a big trend for me to actually go and do video, because radio was, you had a face like this. You were better on the air. You were better on the air than you were, you know, just, that's another thing guys don't know is anything about that is, you know,
yeah, but it's really interesting, Glenn, that you bring up this idea that a lot of young people, and you're right, I've seen it, you know, they're like, oh, old people don't change, yada, 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 but I've never really thought of it within the context of, you know, those young people have probably never changed, for instance, the medium of music they're playing, whereas all these, you know, quote unquote, older people have jumped mediums 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
Man,
that's really...
It's like changing in the wedding realm too. We've changed as far as what we do for weddings now. If you don't change with that trend, these new brides now, they don't want all that traditional. And I get with mamas all the time. That's my biggest thing, is dealing with the bride's mama. The dads aren't that bad. They just make sure it goes over well and you show up.
Yeah, just cut the check and
I'll cut the check and I'll worry about that. But here's the thing with the new brides now. The traditional, and I tell them that, you do not have to do that wedding like your mom and dad did their wedding, because we're not in that trend anymore. We gone with that. That's traditional, that traditional stuff, the wedding marches and the ceremonies that used to be done, that stuff is, I mean, you think.
I had one wedding last year, the traditional wedding march in her ceremony. One wedding. That was it.
I've had that, and I had my first church wedding that I hadn't done in 3 years. Most people don't do a traditional church wedding that involves the DJ. I've had that. This is going to be my first year for doing a same-sex wedding. I'm nervous at the same time. I'm happy that I'm being able to do that. Yeah. You know, I kind of cringed when I first got it, but you know what? I've had people tell me, hey, they're better, and they have been. The client has been, there's 2 ladies, they have been excellent to deal with, very professional. I've had no problems with putting everything together for them, but I was nervous about that at first, and I'm excited. I'm ready for it, but
change is never comfortable. Change is never comfortable. I think that's part of the definition of change. It's got to happen.
Glenn, let me ask you, how long have you been doing this? How long have you been in this business?
I'm gonna 3 years. Yeah, no, I'm kidding. I'm gonna steal Dave's answer here. This is an answer similar to what I heard Dave give years ago. It really connected with me. So I've been doing this. This will be my 19th year, and I've been doing it 19 years, but I've been doing it close to properly for maybe the last 7 or 8.
Okay, then you started right in that, I call it the digital era, and there's nothing digital, which was CD. Even when I switched from vinyl to CD, I took vinyl with me, okay? Because what I did was, it was nice because they built these boxes where you could put the turntables in and put your dual CD unit underneath of it. And then when CDs transitioned, I went from first one I ever used was PC DJ. That was the first thing of software I ever used. Very good software until they changed and sold out. Those boys are right here in Florida. And as soon as they went and did what they did and sold out, I switched over to good old virtual DJ and have been, you know, kind of with them. They're like, oh, you need to try Serato out. That's one I haven't went over to yet. Oh, you'll like it. I'm still stuck in virtual DJ. I haven't pulled that, but I mean, everybody's got their own preference.
I'll forgive you.
But Well, and you know what? I think sometimes.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I think Pioneer's got stock in virtual DJ, or vice versa, somewhere in the midst that.
Or Serato, or who knows what. I know.
Who knows? Somebody has something in, but you know what? As long as whatever works for you, if that software is working for you and you're happy with it, you stay with it.
Absolutely. So, Glenn, Serge, you guys must use Serato, right? I mean, they build it right next door to you, don't they?
No, I think
Serato's out of New Zealand, aren't they?
Don't know what they are.
Yeah, pretty sure Serato's.
Yeah.
Most of our guys use Serato now. We changed over in the last year. We were using another program before that. But in the last months, everyone in our company was moved them over.
If I told you what I use for controllers, you'd probably laugh at me.
I don't use one.
Hercules. They're a French-based company. You've heard of Hercules, haven't you?
Yeah.
They're not well known, but they're a daggum good controller.
I'm a believer in that if it works for you, who cares what it's called or what it does. I don't think any bride's popping behind the DJ console to make sure you're using Serato or whatever.
I thought about getting the one that I was that John recommended the other day with the lights on it. Did you see that one that Newmark has out?
I missed that one, yeah.
It's got speaker built into it and everything. But yeah, man, I think that's true. The same thing. If it works for you, stick with it. It's like a technique. If you got a technique that works for you, don't. If it works, use it.
Yeah, no, good stuff, Scott. Good stuff.
Well, listen, I'm gonna step back if anybody lets you close it out, man, because John gets mad at me because I'm the one that causes these 3 hour. We can turn this thing into 3 hours if we're not careful. If you remember,
I'm gonna let Serge closing commentary. He can say anything he wants, and then Manny, you get the final word tonight. So Serge, let's have something.
Say anything I want. Anything I want. There you go.
It's got to make this entire. If somebody was to watch this post this evening and they got nothing out of it, you need to save the day right now for them. What are you going to say?
Wow. I think they should come to Adelaide in August and attend the DJAA National Conference. We're bringing Mitch Taylor over. You can do a workshop on tax deduction.
Whoa.
And attend the conference.
If you want to sell that conference, I'd drop the name Mitch. Just kidding. Okay, so the DJAA, they've got a conference in Adelaide, Australia in August. What are the dates?
6 and 7.
6th and 7th. Okay, Chris.
7 and 8, sorry. 7 and 8. Mitch is on the 6th.
Got it. Okay.
Just so you know, it got voted the last 4 years in a row as the best DJ conference in Australia. So just keep that in mind.
Wow.
Scott, let's not ask them how many DJ conferences there are in Australia.
Just saying, 4 years in a row.
Hang on, now let's get a bit more specific. National DJ conference.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's the best in the world. I'm just saying it's a contender. So that's all.
You could say it won the World Series.
Yeah.
I can see it now. Mobile goes to Australia.
Yeah. Well, everyone's welcome. We don't exclude anyone. So
Correct.
Correct. All right. We try to keep the Kiwis out, but they keep coming. But anyway.
Well, you know what? They make your DJ software, so good luck with that.
No, they don't.
Serato's not from New Zealand?
It might be designed in New Zealand, but I'm sure it's made in China.
Well, no, it'll be programmers, right? So they'll be.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna make a comment on that change thing that Glenn was saying about the old DJs and the younger DJs.
Right.
It's more than just the media. It's the equipment. What happens, at a wedding or at an event. Lots of things that change. The way you need to do business changes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people used to call you all the time. They hardly ever call you now. You've got to do it all electronically.
You've got to get out to them. You got to get out to them more now. I do these bridal shows. Now people say, what are you doing, wasting your time and money on that? Trust me, they work.
Yeah. But what they say, we're not willing to change the older people. I put myself in there. I'm an older person. And yet what we see at our conferences, we're getting more older people than younger DJs.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And how does your conference define old?
Well, we don't get beginner DJs there that could come there to learn and get off on the right footing and, you know, and learn as much as they can. They don't. They think they know it all.
Yeah. Ooh, have I been down that road? Ooh.
That's not criticising them, but I'm just saying that in relation to that thread that Clem was talking about, my view is that the older people are, or the ones that have been in the business longer, are more adaptable to change than the younger.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true. Well, Manny, final comment before we shut her down for the evening?
Yeah, I say we bypass Brandon's next meeting, or our next chapter meeting in Brandon, just go straight to Australia.
That sounds like an excellent idea. Kent Goodmanson, I know you're not listening right now, but do Manny and I have news for you. We're going to Australia. We're skipping the rest of the networking nights out here.
What's up?
Well, since Surge did a plug for their next big thing, the 29th, Monday in Winnipeg, Manitoba, you're all invited to the next CPDGA networking night in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Our goal is to get 35 DJs out to that networking night. So, boys, you can help us make it happen. Come on, let's do it.
Dig in them pockets.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, I just want to say thank you for hanging out with me for a night and doing this live chat. I know John and the whole Disc Jockey News team appreciate it as well. They're, of course, away at NAMM right now, excitedly checking out all the new products that are coming out in the music world. Manny and I were talking before you all jumped on. Almost 100,000 people attend NAMM in Anaheim, California, so it's a pretty big show. Anyway, my name is Dave. Thanks, you guys, for being here. We're going to shut her down now. Have a great night, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.